Welcome to the Brady Bunch of Autism, your source for family, parenting, and all things autism and special needs. Created by our family for your family. Live from the Ed Asner Family Center. And now your hosts, Nava and Matt Asner.
Good afternoon and good evening. My name is Matt Asner, and to my right is Nava Paskowitz Asner.
And welcome to the first inaugural Ed Talks.
The Ed Talks are a lecture series, I bet you couldn't have guessed that, where we're talking to people that are interesting to our community. Our community is the special needs community and the autism community. Tonight we have two amazing authors who wrote one amazing book called I Have Been Buried Under Years of Dust. And with us today are Valerie Gilpeer, mom, and Emily Grodin, daughter. And poet,
authoress.
An authoress. And they're going to join us today. Ed Talks are interesting. The first thing we're going to do is have Valerie and Emily speak about the situation that they find themselves in today. Mm-hmm. And they're going to tell us what the book is about and why they wrote it. And then we're going to have a bit of a Q&A. The book comes out tomorrow. It has and we'll be reading some of the excerpts of some of the praise that this book has gotten right before the Q&A. But right now I'm going to introduce Valerie Gilpeer, who is the mom of Emily Grodin and the co-author of I Have Been Buried Under Years of Dust, coming out by HarperCollins tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Valerie and Emily.
Mm-hmm. Hi there. Thank you so much, Matt, for having us. We're so very pleased to be here to share with you how we've gotten here. This is the book that Emily and I wrote called I Have Been Buried Under Years of Dust. And this story is really about our journey, our family's journey, that of Emily and Tom and my husband and Emily's dad, from the time that Emily was diagnosed initially at the age of 2 with autism to the present. And this book takes everyone on a journey from Emily's initial diagnosis through our years of speech therapy, occupational therapy, and various forms of therapy to the time when she ultimately was able to communicate in a very, very impressive way. So after Emily was diagnosed when she was 2, we engaged in a series of services for Emily, which included behavior modification, speech and language therapy, and occupational therapy, focusing mostly on this speech therapy with the hope that one day that Emily would become a verbal person and able to actually communicate verbally. Unfortunately, with all the years that we had of speech therapy, that never happened. She had speech therapy from about the time that she was 2 years of age until the time that she was about 20. And it never really happened that Emily was able to be conversational, and she pretty much remained a single using words, single words. So we ultimately continued to pursue various therapies, and nothing really happened. So what we were finding over the course of the years was that Emily was pretty much disregarded by people because she could not communicate in a meaningful verbal way. She was very much limited in the output, and because she could not speak in a way that was so valorized by the world, people didn't think that she was an intelligent person. And this created a lot of frustration for Emily and created a lot of frustration for us. And ultimately, we were finding that this was impacting Emily's access to the greater world. So, isn't that true, Emily?
That's right.
Yes. And so, what we found over as Emily aged was that things really got worse when she could not communicate with the world verbally. And what happened was that we reached a point after a period of time when Emily was, at a college transition program into a college, where things really did escalate and the behaviors were very much an issue due to the fact that she could not communicate with people that were providing her care. You will learn in this book that we were really forced to bring her back to live with us. And we engaged in looking at alternative forms of communication and landed on pursuing what is known as facilitated communication. And through facilitated communication, which is really an alternative form of communication, we learned just how much Emily had to share with the world, all about her inner life, her hopes and dreams, the things that she sought for herself, and actually just how much she loved us and how much she had been learning all those years when so many people thought she wasn't learning anything. So what is FC, you might ask? What is facilitated communication? It's a form of alternative augmentative communication. It is for Emily, she'll give you a little demonstration of it. It amounts to Emily typing on a keyboard, on an iPad. Sometimes now she's actually typing on a computer with a communication partner sitting next to her who lightly touches her and provides her emotional support and encouragement. So it's that simple. And it uses such a simple device as an iPad or a computer. And for Emily, this methodology, this alternative form of communication, opened up her world and has provided her with so many more opportunities, both socially and emotionally and academically. All of this is documented in the book. And one of the reasons that we're so proud of this book is that it really provides, it's not a roadmap, but it really provides hope, I think, to people who have really struggled with getting their children to speak verbally and realizing that it may never happen. There are alternative methods available, things which should be pursued by people, by school districts, but often are not. And we hope that when people read Emily's poetry, when they read her what she's written in the book, and they see how she can answer questions here for you today, that they will be inspired to look into other ways of helping their person communicate. We also certainly hope that the story will also be somewhat instructive to members of the medical community, educators, and really for anyone who works with anyone who has special needs. So
It should be required for those
yes,
people, by the way.
yes. So, Emily's breakthrough was unusually powerful, I think. I'm not sure that everyone who attempts facilitated communication or any other alternative form of communication, of which there are others, this is not the only methodology, will actually be as successful as Emily is. But there are many, many out there in our community now who are using FC and who are very successful and whose lives have been changed. So we hope that you enjoy reading the book, and we hope that you will find some hope for the person that your life that you love.
I was just going to add one thing. It also is incredibly inspirational to parents, and to parents in their own ways, maybe not being exactly in that situation, but there was so much hope, even in your darkest times. You never gave up on Emily. You always knew that there was so much more in her eyes, and you knew that instinctively as a mother.
And that is exactly what kept me going all
Yes.
those years, was
Yes.
because that same light that I saw in Emily from the time that she was born was a light that I could not let go of. It was a
Yes.
light that I said is in there. And I think when you see that in your child, you keep going, and doesn't matter what anybody says to you. There are so many naysayers along the way, so many people that told us no, and so many obstacles that were put in our path that we refuse to heed to, actually, that we refuse to say, yeah, you're right. I mean, there were certainly, and as the book really talks about, we did follow the advice of experts, especially at the beginning. I mean, this was Emily was diagnosed in 1993. The world is a changed place since 1993 in terms of the availability of services and opportunities for individuals with autism, and also attitudes. A lot of attitudes have changed. So it's a different world. But we dealt with what we had to deal with then. We followed the advice of people who we felt could give us the best advice at the time, and pursued it until
But you still took,
until we felt that advice wasn't as helpful.
but even when you had expert advice, sometimes mom knows best.
Absolutely.
And you were that tiger mom that said, you know what? I think mom knows best. I love that about you.
Well, I mean, I think that you have a sense, parents have a sense of what's best for their children. And although I was always told that along the way, every time I would assert myself, I would be told I was wrong. So, so it was kind of a mixed bag. And I do think that now, I mean, I know that there's so many more parent groups that have emerged now than were available then.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, we were a little bit in the dark in those early days. And also there was a certain amount, I wouldn't say shame about our kids, but the way we were received was difficult.
100%.
And the way people would, we were always told, well, it doesn't really matter the label, but if you did place a label on, then there was a possibility that maybe your child wouldn't get invited to a birthday party because of that. So there was a tendency, and I mean, if I were starting over again now, I would feel very differently, than.
And like you say, it's a different world.
It's a different world.
Autism is in movies and TV and the good doctor, the good doctor.
Yeah,
that's one.
Okay,
but
it's a different world.
I have a question for Emily.
For Emily?
Yeah.
Okay, Emily, you're up.
And it's one that I give with a bunch of emotion. Actually, I'd like to know how she feels when she deals with people who don't assume intelligence in her.
Good, Emily. How do you feel? Would you ask her directly?
Emily, how do you feel when you meet people that don't assume that you are intelligent?
I really feel it's best to pay no. I really feel it's best to pay no mind.
Okay.
That's their problem, not yours.
I need to take classes from you. I really
No, I
do.
need to take classes from Emily.
Yeah, you need to.
I'm the one who pays mine.
Well, it must be very difficult, and certainly I'm sure it's difficult for Valerie. And
it was difficult. It was difficult when Emily was young, and there were so many people because we valorize in that society people that are articulate, and because people can express themselves and explain things. And when you have a person in your life who is unable to do those things, they are treated differently. I mean, they're treated like they're not bright people. And yet we knew Emily was bright. And how did we know she was bright, you might ask? Well, we knew she was bright because she was a nonverbal problem solver. She had a sense of humor. She would figure things out. She would get things accomplished. I mean, watching her, nonverbally purchase a cookie in a bakery with, it was like poetry in motion. Yeah. It was unbelievable. And there were just so many things that she would do.
The scene of you struggling with the car seat, and then Emily's just like, looks at you and just
and she was
unbuckles
an infant. It was like, you don't need mommy.
Yeah.
No, it's so it bothered me now. It doesn't bother me now because people, I know who she is. Now I have validation. Mm-hmm. It's like when I was telling people how smart Emily was when she was younger, people would look at me like, they kind of humor me, but that they didn't believe me.
100%.
They didn't believe me because they would see Emily moving or making, verbalizations or something, and it would not seem to them that anything was in there. Mm-hmm. But we knew. Tom and I knew, right? Yes.
We have a bunch of questions from people out there.
But some are to Emily and some are to Valerie.
Yes, but before we go there, I want to ask one question. And it's to both of you.
Okay.
So I'm asking Emily and I'm asking Valerie. When Emily blossomed into FC technology?
She had a breakthrough, really.
Yes, a breakthrough. But that's a blossom.
Oh, it's very...
It was literally
it was a breakthrough.
It was a breakthrough.
But,
it was a crime breakthrough.
I would love for you to describe, and I'm sure they'll read it in the book when they buy your book, which they will do. I want you to describe that breakthrough, for both of you to describe that breakthrough and what it did to your relationship together.
Well, would you like to answer that question, sweetie? Yes. What did it do to our relationship? And you had the breakthrough? Yes. Go ahead.
Course. It brought us close. Of course, it brought us close, Bug.
Close.
But we were also very close. Of course, it brought us close, but we were also very close before.
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, what it did is that, again, it was a validation of so many things. And also what it did in so many ways is that it gave us such an insight into Emily's incredible inner life and her hopes and dreams for herself that we could then act on and help her realize. You know, we had no idea all the things that Emily wanted to do with her life. We had no idea that she wanted to go to college and that she, had all these hopes and dreams for herself. And I must tell you that since the time that this book has come out, she has really flourished even more since the book has come out. I mean, she's, become a full-fledged college student, 7 classes under her belt in the pandemic, aspirations to become a journalist now, and has really developed a lot of friends. So,
And a good GPA.
4.0.
There we go.
Hey,
Can't leave that out.
No, right now, 4.0.
Huge accomplishment.
Can't leave that out.
No, it's really, so it did a lot of things, but it also made it, Emily has had fewer instances of behavioral issues. We've been able to talk her through a lot more stuff, understand her better.
Yeah.
When you have a child who doesn't speak verbally or who doesn't communicate in any other meaningful way that's really meaningful, and you're just getting 1 or 2 word responses, you really just don't have a great insight into how to address many things. It's all supposition. Right. You're kind of guessing all the time. We're always playing a guessing game. And now we're not playing a guessing game anymore. We're really not, because she's a full participant in her world and in our lives as well.
And an artist. And you thought it was just going to be kind of a bland, typing out. And you said, where did this poetry come from? Your poetry, Emily, is incredible.
Let's talk about that for 1 second, because I would like for Emily to tell us which poem is her favorite poem in the book.
Oh,
and
it's a hard question.
That's a hard question.
Yeah.
Or maybe she can choose one that you can read, Valerie.
Oh, from the book?
Yeah.
Oh, Emmy.
I mean, I thought, honestly,
because the poems,
the letter she wrote to your family at Thanksgiving.
Oh, do you like that?
That's
a
great.
good one. Okay.
Beautiful.
That's on page 2.
And that, to me, was another breakthrough moment.
Well, that was written on page, I know that page. This was one of the first things Emily wrote. This was right after she started typing. And this was the one where she wrote, "Something I need you all to hear." Okay. Should I read this, Emily?
Yes.
Okay.
I love that one.
Remember when she wrote this? Okay. So it says, "Something I need you all to hear is this. I am autistic, not brain dead. Please never again underestimate people like me. We make noises and do peculiar things with our bodies. That is undeniable. However, our greatest affliction is that the world sees us as incapable of anything else. Make me proud to be a part of this world by helping me eradicate the misconceptions. Please know that I am thankful for each one of you and that you have taken the time to hear my words.
That's just perfect.
Oh, wow. Amen.
Amen.
And it's not just to the family. That's to the whole world.
That's to the
Who
world.
prejudges our low and nonverbal friends.
That's right.
Who, the preschools and everything that you went through, and all these people who put the labels and said that she could never do this, when you knew from that light that she could do that. You never gave up that hope. And
No.
it's beautiful.
No, we never gave up that hope. I mean, it was impossible to shake. I mean, I really, over the years, as the book documents, I really became like a dog with a bone.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's all it was. I mean, I really was unable and unwilling to let go of anything but full inclusion for
Right.
Emily, for opportunities for Emily. And, the push really for the language, really the need for language, which was always there, was something that really just became absolutely essential as she aged. And of course, these instances that we're having, we talk about problems with the police. We just
Yeah.
had another one that happened
Right.
here in Los Angeles 2 days ago with police overreacting to a situation was something which was a huge fear. And, I
Yeah.
write about
Kept
it.
you up at night.
I write about it
Yeah.
back in 2016. It was a fear and it remains a fear. And it will be a
Absolutely.
fear for an awfully long time. But people need to understand that sometimes the reasons for those behaviors, although they're not necessarily evident in a moment, people's inability to communicate and the buildup that happens with their frustration
Right.
really does cause behaviors. And so although the
Absolutely.
ability to communicate in the moment may not solve the situation or ameliorate the immediacy of a meltdown, the fact is that it's a boiling point. People reach a boiling point. I think we all do. It's kind of like you have enough. You have enough of kind of the disrespect, the disregarding, and that sort of thing. And I think that's what causes a lot of the behaviors that we see in individuals who have limited communication abilities.
100%.
I really do.
I have a fun question for Emily. And this person says, Emily, what kind of music do you like? What kind of music do you listen to?
From Shannon.
From Shannon. What kind of music do you like? I know one part of the book.
I listen to K. I listen to K Earth.
So
K
K-Earth
Earth
101. So Emily was weaned on K-Earth 101 as a baby, and she's still listening to it, even though
And
the
you like
genre has
classical
changed
music
considerably
too, like me.
since 1991.
K-Earth
It's now
That's
80s
great.
music. It used to be 60s and 70s.
It was oldies but goodies.
It was old, not anymore.
What is it now?
So we're stuck with it's 80s. It's horrible.
Oh, 80s?
Maddie's
Oh, I probably
favorite.
like it then. I think I'll check it out.
Matt's favorite.
Emily, one day you and I are going to just listen to K.
Just go
Okay?
back.
Come here and we'll listen to K.
Drive around town, listen to K-Earth.
The next one, the next question comes from Mark. And that question is, do you have your facilitated communication with you at all times to help you communicate? It's for Emily.
No. But I do. Most days. For a. No, but I do most days for a time.
Okay.
And how about maybe we can ask you?
But we never introduced.
We haven't. This is terrible. How terrible of us.
I call her Stephanie from the book.
This
She's
is
famous in my
Stephanie
house.
from the book. Stephanie, why don't you explain what facilitated communication is? Because I think there are a lot of people out there who might not know what it is.
Sure. So as Emily's communication partner, I think that I offer a lot of different support in different ways. The actual touch was intended to be as a cue, especially when you teach communication. There are a lot of things that you have to teach, like, hey, we asked you a question. There's an expectation there. So we actually have to teach a lot of people, like, this is how the back and forth goes. So it starts as a cue, and support actually began way long ago, probably at the wrist, right?
No,
oh,
it's
no.
always
Okay.
way up here. Always way up here. Yeah.
So I think when I started typing with Emily, I just picked up where her last communication partner had left off. So her support has faded now to the shoulder. Yeah.
And sometimes the elbow. There's a touch. No elbow?
Emmy was always way up here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
I have another question. This one's from Scott, who says, Emily, you used to paint when you were younger, as I recall. Do you still express yourself sometimes through painting?
Who Scott is?
I know. And how does he know Emily used to paint? Wait a minute. What's going on here? You have fans already, Emily.
Everybody knows Emily.
It has been a while. It's all over. It has been a while. It's all over that.
She's over that.
Yeah, she's
Scott.
over that.
So this is a question for Valerie. Parents everywhere will want to hear about Emily's point of view on what causes meltdowns, especially in nonverbal autistics. Has it helped lessen Emily's own meltdowns?
Yes, Emily describes what a meltdown feels like in the book with pretty great clarity. There's no question that Emily has become a much calmer person, a much more receptive person, and a much more flexible person as a result of being able to communicate.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, it's a huge life changer. It is, wasn't it, Emily?
Yes.
Yeah, huge life changer.
And
I mean, it's key. I mean, communication is key.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
I can't really
but her
emphasize this enough.
descriptions. I mean, when I said that what is it called? First responders. If the first responders were to read Emily's descriptions, that
Yeah.
might save another situation, like this horrible situation that you were mentioning that happened. Emily so eloquently describes, what happens with her body. And, I've lived with panic attacks my whole life. I can understand when your body takes over and you really have to talk in your head and talk yourself off. But it's so beautifully written, and it really opens up the whole world's eyes to what is going on. When you and Tom both, you didn't know what was going on. Now she can describe that. And I think that's why this book is so important, and it should be like a required reading is what I meant to say.
The description.
Yes, because it's I don't want to say that person in UCLA didn't know what she was doing, but that person who didn't know what she was doing in UCLA, if she had just listened and just turned around and just looked into Emily's eyes, Emily would have said to her,
But this is not uncommon, and I think that many people who read the book, this incident will resonate. Maybe not precisely in the same way, but it will resonate because this is very typical. People don't listen to our people. Individuals who are providing support often don't want to listen because they, unlike the community of typers, don't presume competence. They presume that, they're going to be the master, they're going to decide, and they're going to boss people around. Well, thinking human beings don't want to be bossed around. They want to be a participant and they want to have a say in their life. And this is how it was with Emily. She wanted to have a say in her life, and now she does have a say in her life. her life is, she guides what she does. I mean, we did her room. She made all the decisions about her room, right? I mean, I bought things for her room.
Yeah.
She didn't like them. They went
And
back.
I love the story of the Ritz crackers. It's like, I wasn't being argumentative. I just felt like Ritz crackers, Mom. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's just so much
Okay, my turn.
choice that's taken away by other people, and no one wants that taken away.
This is a heavy question.
What's that?
That's somebody else. Michelle asks, Valerie, how did you and Tom stay together when so many special needs parents end up divorcing over such stress?
Well,
You have to read the book.
yeah, well, we had our moments, but I don't know. It's a strong love for each
Yes.
other, obviously, and also just a strong love for this person.
Yeah.
For our person, right?
Well, I
And we adore her equally.
Yes.
I mean, there's just no
Clear.
question
Tom
about it.
is-
And
the sweetest man. And just when you think you can't love Tom more, you read that book and you're like, this is, he
Yeah.
should be sainted.
yeah, well,
He's-
he should, especially, because I was not easy. I mean, as you read the book, you'll see how I was not easy. I was not easy. And he was sort of tamping me down a lot because I was the tiger mom. I mean, I
Yeah.
really was. And there will be people that will read this and go, I was a nightmare. And then other people will say, yeah, well, she did what she had to do.
I don't think
And,
anybody's going to read that and think of you as a nightmare. I'm sorry.
well, I'm
No.
sure people at the school district did.
I saw a lot of myself in your book, didn't I? I kept telling
Yeah.
other people.
People
Reminds me so much of myself.
This next question is for Emily. Is the next book going to be a book of poems? And that's from Tony. That's that question.
What do you think?
That is a grade. Guess. But can't go into detail. That is a great guess, but can't go into detail.
That's right. That's the
Always-
professional.
Always play it close to the vest. Keep it secret until you're ready to come out with it. I agree with that
Absolutely.
100%. Yep. All right. You mentioned school. And you mentioned she's taking, I think, Emily, you're taking 4 classes, 4 right now?
She's taken 7 classes
Oh,
during
sorry.
the pandemic.
7
7
classes.
completed 7 classes.
4.0 grade point average.
Uh-huh.
So, and I believe you said either to me earlier, I think you might have said it here too, that Emily wants to be a journalist. Emily, what do you want to write about as a journalist?
Whenever you're ready, my friend.
Ready?
I want to talk about things that don't get I want to talk about things that don't get covered.
Okay, that's good. I think it is a noble job, and I wish you so much luck in that. And I know that my dad you played a journalist on TV,
Right.
would be very, very proud of you for making that decision.
Yeah.
So
Okay. The next question is for Valerie. This is kind of an easy one. What made you decide to write a book about autism? And
That's a good question. So initially, my real approach to the book was that I really wanted to shine a light on Emily and her writings. And so, I was not shopping it around, but inquiring about whether it was possible to do such a book, and was not really getting a lot of positive responses from people. So eventually we landed on writing the book that would basically document the journey. And in that way, we would be able to shine light on Emily's incredible writing and her accomplishments.
Right.
So I think that it didn't start off as a book of hope. It was more because it was really intended as my love letter to Emily, just because I personally, as a mom of this young woman who I thought was so incredibly intelligent, was so tired of people just not giving her the time that the attention that she wanted, and I wanted attention on her. So she has a lot of attention on her now.
Yeah.
So that's really why. I mean, it kind of evolved. It really did evolve. It evolved into being a memoir. And I think that it was a good decision in many ways, because I think that as a memoir, it probably is more useful to the greater world than simply as a collection of her work, or as meaningful as so much of what Emily writes, as insightful as what Emily writes, and what she writes every day. I mean, Emily writes a couple poems or essays almost every single week. So that's kind of how it really did just evolve as a possibility and a great vehicle. So, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, the raising of her and the story and the memoir and the backstory is just sort of that background noise, the vehicle to really highlight what Emily was able to say.
And there are some beautiful poems after in kind of like the prologue. But I think, like you say, that it's the description and the story of how you got to that point and the breakthrough that really is the book as a whole. I loved it. I just finished it, and I'm just over the moon about it.
Thank you.
this is for Valerie, but I think it's to Emily though. So I think we'll let either one of you answer this,
Okay.
since I can't make heads or tails of who we're asking.
Okay.
But it says Emily in the very beginning. So I'm going to say, Emily, we as parents of autistic children are told that there is a limited window of time we have in order to help our children. That if we do not see specific improvements in functioning by a certain age, then they will be impossible to achieve. What do you think it was that triggered this amazing breakthrough for Emily at age 25? Oh, it is for
I
you.
think it's probably for me. So, okay. So when I was just it was initially got into the practice of special education law. One of the first cases that I had, I was representing a young girl who wasn't getting services from a certain Southern California school district. And I put a witness on who did win the case for us, but he was a psychologist who testified that if a person really doesn't get the level of services they need by 7 years of age, and then that's it, they're done. They will never be able to get where they want. And I remember taking him out afterwards and saying, I don't believe that. I mean, the brain is malleable and ever changing. And here I am. I was probably 45 years then. And I said, I'm still changing and learning and doing all of that things. I don't believe that. So in answer to that question, I think that there is no time when you stop learning. Mm-hmm. And I think this is evidence of that. I think there's no time when there's a cutoff time. There is no finish line with probably any child, but probably less so with our kids, because there's always more to do. And I think that this book stands for that exact proposition, that don't stop doing what you need to do and looking for alternatives. Because if we had stopped, if we had given up and we had said, we're done, this never would have happened. In terms of, and because we pursued it, because you really keep going. You really have to look at you go under every rock, uncover every possibility. And interestingly, with facilitated communication, it was something that we had pursued when she was much younger, and it didn't gel.
Right.
It just didn't work. Emily wasn't ready. In Emily's own words, which are reflected in the book, after, the book details the incident which occurred, which I'm not going to give it away, why it is that what occasioned sort of the breakthrough, but it was kind of that Emily reached a point where she was ready. She herself was ready. And I think that's so interesting that that's what she said. I was ready to do it. And I think that's so interesting because don't we all do things when we're ready? We all do it. And she got to that point. It was a breaking point, and she was ready, and she did it. So, one of the points I'm really hoping that the book will make is that parents shouldn't stop. There's no magical age. They turn 18 and you can serve or don't conserve, and they become adults technically, but it's meaningless. It's just an age. It's a number. It's keep doing what you have to do as long as you can do it. And I realize that for so many people, that is a huge challenge because, you're tired. You're tired. You've had to put in a lot of, if you've been doing it right, you've been putting a lot of hard years there. It's hard work and people are exhausted. Yeah. But keep at it.
Don't give up.
Don't give up. You can't give up.
And don't listen always to experts. I'm sorry, but that's a pretty global statement to give about a 7-year-old.
Listen to experts, but listen to yourself.
Well, he's the reasonable one, and I'm the.
Well, I think it's always a mix. I was certainly the most, educate. I would go everywhere. There wasn't a conference I went to. Absolutely. There wasn't an event I didn't go to, starting from the time that she was quite young. Yeah. I went everywhere. I listened to everyone. I took it all in. I would take extensive notes. I would look at everything. I would think to myself, and I would try to balance, whether it made sense to me. And a lot of the time, it really is a matter of whether it makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does it pass the smell test? Is this right for our family? Is it the right thing to do?
Right.
And, think some things you'll have a sense that they're not going to work anymore, or that you shouldn't do them or whatever. So, but it's a challenge.
And also when you guys started, there was a change in technology. There's this a scene where
huge.
Tom's teaching Emily about computers, and it was the very kind of the beginning of even having a desktop or something like that. Right. So technology changes. So if a parent starts here, don't stop, because there might be a technology, years that as the technology improves, because FC was not available to a lot of. I know your brother who's in his 30s and my nephew who's older. And today there's so many more opportunities. Yeah. Even our phones are so advanced that.
Where will we be in 20 years?
Exactly.
Who knows?
I don't know.
You just asked that one. So
I expect to be hearing from you about it in 20 years, Emily.
What do you think of that?
I think you're going to be the one that tells me. Next question.
What would Emily hope that we can all learn from her experience? And that's directed to Emily. What would you hope, Emily? What would you hope that people would learn from reading the book about you? Oh.
That people have many thoughts, even if they can't get that people have many thoughts even if they can't get them out.
Yes.
Very important. Very important.
I think that's really the essence.
Now.
Just because you can't speak doesn't mean you don't have anything to
Yes.
say.
That's right. That leads to my first question.
Yeah.
Emily, what is your greatest joy? That this comes from Victor. What is your greatest joy?
My parents.
Oh,
Okay,
wow. That was unexpected.
that's a wonderful thing.
Tissue.
That's what we all want our children to say.
I know.
That's great. Thank you, Emily.
Thank you.
I think I'm going to have to say now, Valerie, what's your greatest joy?
Emily.
Right.
That was beautiful.
That's great.
Okay, Emily, another one for you. Would you like to have some pen pals? Because you are going to, there's some people here who want to be pen pals with you. Are you ready to make some friends? And so many people are going to be reading your book. So would you like to have some more pen pals?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So do you guys have a website that
We do.
people can go to and talk to Emily and pose questions directly to Emily and to you?
Yes, there's a link to our emails, and it's www.emilygrodin.com or www.valeriegilpeer.com.
Right.
EmilyRoden.com or
Valerie
ValerieGilpeer.com.
Right.
And
And we'll put that in on our Facebook page.
what an honor that the book was just named Book of the Month on Amazon, because that
For
is
April.
amazing.
Yeah, it's a choice. Yes.
A book choice.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Nonfiction. Yeah, we are really happy with the response that it's had so far. Very pleased.
Well, I think we're going to end it here.
Okay.
And I just want to say that this has been inspirational. I think there are a lot of families out there who are looking for answers. And certainly this book might not have every answer, but it's a great place to look if you buy this book and take a look at it. And I think it has a lot of wonderful. It's a book of hope,
It's a
Thank
book
you.
of hope.
and it's very much, I think, an important book in the autism world.
Thank you.
And I think, as I said in the little blurb, I think Emily is a voice for a once voiceless generation. And I congratulate you both on the brilliance of the book.
Thank you.
And I hope it's nothing but successful.
Thank you so much, Matt.
And it's only the beginning for Emily, because her poems are magnificent. And I know that it's only the beginning, and you're going to inspire and write beautiful things for many years to come. And I'm very excited to read it.
Is it?
Thank you. You're very welcome.
Yeah. She's got stuff under her in the works, right, Em?
Yeah.
So if you would like to purchase this book, I've been buried under years of dust. You can go to Amazon, or if you can find one, a bookstore. It's been released by HarperCollins. And so it's Amazon, iBooks, all
Book
the
Soup. Locally, it's at Book Soup.
Book Soup.
Book Soup. Well, you can order Book Soup. The website has all of the links to various outlets that are selling the book.
We congratulate you,
Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
and we thank you out there. And until next time, this has been Matt Asner and Nava Paskowitz Asner for the Ed Talks.
Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next month.
Thank you.